The problem is not that you have too much stuff. Most Japanese homes do not look minimalist because the Japanese own less. They look minimalist because every object has answered a question, and that question is not, do I need this? The question is, where does this belong? That is the difference, and it changes everything. There are 6 specific habits that come from that question, not rules, not systems, habits. And the 6th one, the last one, is the reason why the rest actually work long term. Most of us have tried decluttering at least once, filling up trash bags, taking them to a donation center, and feeling relieved for about a week. Then slowly, without knowing when, everything goes back to the way it was. Not because you lack discipline, but because decluttering does not change your relationship with objects. It only moves them. These 6 habits do something else. We will go through each one slowly. Some will be familiar, and some will look like small things you can do today. And one will change the question you ask when you look at anything in your house. Let us start with the first one. The first habit comes from Kaizen, pronounced as Kaizen, literally meaning continuous improvement through small steps every single day. In the context of the home, the Japanese apply it this way. Every time a new thing enters the house, an old thing must leave. It is not a massive cleanup, and you do not need to spend the whole weekend just one in, one out. This is not a rule about control. It is a rule about balance. A house cannot breathe when it only inhales and never exhales. Your body understands this, and your home does too. Picture a vase where you keep pouring water in without ever pouring any out. At some point, it can no longer hold it. It just overflows. Most homes are not cluttered because their owners are careless. They are cluttered because there is no outward flow. The quiet practice here is this. The next time you bring something home, clothes, books, anything, ask this question before putting it away. What will leave to make room for this? Just one question every time. But that is only one layer of this. The second habit involves a lesser-known Japanese word, Katachi, pronounced as Katachi. It means form, and how form defines function. In Japanese home design, no object exists without a specific place for it. Not just somewhere in this room, but one spot, exactly, always. When a thing does not have a home, it wanders, and wandering things create clutter. Open the closest drawer in your house right now, in your mind. Do you know what is inside without looking? If not, that is not a drawer. It is a container for unmade decisions. The Japanese do not have junk drawers, not because they have better drawers. It is because every object already knows where it belongs before it is put away. The quiet practice here is this. Choose a small area, a drawer, a corner of a desk, or a shelf, and take everything out. With each item you pick up, say out loud where it belongs. If you have to think about it, it does not have a home yet. That is the most important information you will get today. But that is only one layer of this. The third habit is the hardest to translate, but also the most practical. Teinei, pronounced as Teinei, means being careful, thoughtful, and conscious in every small action. The Japanese do not just own objects, they pay attention to them. And from that attention, a simple truth emerges. You can tell if an object deserves to be there just by picking it up once. Research from the University of California, San Diego, found that we touch about 52% of the objects in our homes less than once a month. Not because we do not need them, but because we have stopped seeing them. They become part of the background, like background noise that the brain has learned to filter out, but is still processing, still consuming energy. This is the part most people walk right past without realizing. The quiet practice here is this. Once a week, choose a drawer or a shelf. Pick up each item. Do not just look at it, actually pick it up. Ask yourself, when was the last time I used this? Not might I need it. When did I actually last use it? The answer usually says everything. Let that sink in for a moment, because the next thing changes how you see all of this. Stop for a second. Look at the closest surface you can see from where you are sitting. Do not move, just look. Count how many things are resting on it. That number is the amount of signals your brain is processing right now, not just once, continuously. This is what the fourth thing is about. Kanso, pronounced as Kanso, means simplicity, not out of deprivation, but because everything unnecessary has been eliminated. In a traditional Japanese home, horizontal surfaces, tables, shelves, kitchen counters, are kept almost completely clear, not because they lack things, but because they understand that an empty surface is visual space to breathe, and the brain cannot distinguish between a physical surface and a mental surface. When one is cluttered, the other is too. There is a reason why you feel more clear-headed in a clean hotel room. It is not because the room is nicer than your house. It is because it demands nothing from you. There is no pile of unopened mail, and there are no unwashed cups. There is nothing to remind you of undone tasks. That is exactly what Kanso creates. Not in a hotel, but in your home. The quiet practice here is this. Choose one surface, just one, and clear it completely for 7 days. Do not just tidy it up or move things elsewhere. Find a real home for each item, or let it go. 7 days is enough for your brain to learn how to breathe there. It sounds small, but it is not. The 5th habit is what connects all the rest. Ma, pronounced as ma, is the space between things, kept not out of a lack of items, but out of intention. If you have seen our previous video, you know ma does not mean emptiness. It means possibility. But today we are looking at it from a different angle. In the first 4 habits, we talked about taking things away. Ma is about protecting what is already there. The Japanese do not just create empty space and leave it to survive on its own, they protect it. The same way you would protect something precious. Not because it is expensive, but because you know what the cost of losing it is. The empty space in your home is the same. If it is not protected, it disappears slowly. No one notices until it is long gone. Think about your favorite corner in your house. The place where the light falls just right, where you sit down and feel like you are truly resting. Now ask, is that corner shrinking? Little by little, an extra chair, a stack of books, something temporary, until that feeling is no longer there. You are not losing a corner of a room. You are losing the place where you get to be yourself. The quiet practice here is this. Identify an empty space in your home, even if it is small, where you feel good just being near it. Then name it, in your head or on paper, and decide that nothing is allowed to fill it. Not because you do not have space, but because you are protecting something valuable. And the final one, this is what most people usually overlook. It is usually the reason the others do not last. The 6th habit is nothing like the previous 5. Mottainai, pronounced as Mottainai. There is no exact English translation, but the closest is a sense of regret over waste, an awareness that every object cost resources to exist and deserves to be treated with corresponding respect. It sounds philosophical, but it is completely practical. We often think of letting go of objects as an act of rejection, saying, I do not need this anymore. This no longer serves me. Mottainai reverses this entirely. Letting go is not saying no to the object. It is returning it to a place where it can truly be used. The shirt you have not worn in 3 years is not something you are keeping. It is something you are keeping away from someone who could wear it today. The book you will not read again is not something you own. It is a conversation waiting for another reader. Keeping everything is not gratitude. It is hoarding. And Mottainai says that true respect is sometimes knowing when to let go. In Japan, there is a practice when letting go of objects, thanking them before giving them away. It is not a ritual, and it is not superstition. It is a moment to pause and recognize that this thing once served a purpose, and now it is ready to serve another. That tiny shift in perspective changes how the entire act of letting go feels. It is no longer a loss. It is a release for both you and the object. The quiet practice here is this. The next time you pick something up and know it is time to let it go, do not rush to put it in the trash bag. Take 10 seconds. Recognize what it did for you, no matter how small. Then let it go, not because it is useless, but because you respect it enough to not hold on to it for no reason. 10 seconds turns an action into an intention, and intention turns a habit into a practice. These 6 habits are not just a list. Look back at them, and you will see something. Kaizen teaches you to maintain the flow, and Katachi gives every object an address. Teinei makes you see what has become invisible. Kanso protects your eyes, and therefore protects your mind. Ma protects the space where peace lives. Mottainai changes the reason you let go, from rejection to respect. Together, they do not teach you to have less. They teach you to pay more attention. And when you pay attention, the house begins to organize itself. Not because you control it, but because you and the house are finally speaking the same language. This is the part most people walk right past without realizing. Clutter is not an organization problem. It is a relationship problem. The relationship between you and what you allow to occupy your space, in your home, and therefore in your mind. These 6 habits change that relationship, bit by bit, every single day, until clutter no longer has a chance to accumulate, not because you fought it, but because you stopped inviting it in. Japanese homes do not look the way they do because Japanese people are more disciplined. They look that way because every person in them has asked the question we just asked today, not just once, but every day, as a habit, until the question becomes the way they move through life. You do not need to start with all 6 things, and you do not need to start today. But if there is one of those 6 things that spoke to you, leave a comment with it. Not to share with me, but to share with yourself. Less noise, a clearer life, that is the method.